Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Always Wired Wrestling. So yeah, we're gonna be doing Raw, Smackdown, AEW, and NXT, and I'll be flying solo on this one, unfortunately, because Blair has Blair's unfortunately left the project. But hopefully, we'll get him back at some point. And yeah, hope like we can only hope because he's a good character on this. But either way, yeah. So I guess we'll start off on Monday with Raw. And let's have a look here of what we've got written down. What we have is it started off with the Christmas date sheet with the Miz, Morrison, AJ Styles, and his big handler person. Yeah, so it was all right. It was a bit of story time. Story time with some silliness around it. Morrison was dressed up as Braveheart, which I guess it's funny because he's Scottish and everything, but at the same time, it was really, really bad acting, things like that, things that people are upset that WWE do. So I can't really say that I disagree because I don't, because it was bad. It was really bad. And then AJ stabs Morrison. Bit of a move. I wouldn't have done it myself, but um, yeah, it was fine. I guess it was fine. Um, and then Sheamus comes out as he would because he's Drew's friend. Then he goes out and he's all raging, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna batter you," blah blah blah. And Styles and Sheamus have a pretty good match. Pretty good match, but well, it's to be expected. They're both really good. So the only thing that I would say about it was good match, just a bit of silliness around it, which doesn't really play because they're trying to do a bit of seriousness as well. Because even though Drew, even though Drew fought 2020, I don't know if that was just from the WWE Twitter account, but it's just silliness that they don't need to do. Either way, we'll move on from that because there's a bit that comes up after with Drew. Then there was a bit of Hurt Business, and you know me, I like myself a bit of Hurt Business, but they've got this guy who's having a bro nut, and which, if you listen to last week's episode, me and Blair both enjoyed the bro nuts. So so he's having this donut. Then the Hurt Business come over, and then they take I think they take it off him, and then Bobby Lashley pours milk all over him, and then it's like I don't understand why the Hurt Business are effectively being a bully here, which does not play well with the anti-bullying campaigns. But that's up to them. It's up to Vince at the end of the day. And then there was a match between New Day and the Hurt Business, which, to be honest, was a good match, very good match. There was nothing special about it. There was nothing that really screamed out that this was a 5-star match. But at the same time, for me, not every match needs to be a WrestleMania main event, and that's a good thing. That's something that AEW could learn from. And even though people know that I am an AEW hater, which I'm not, but in fact, no, we'll get to AEW. We'll get to it. So yeah, good match. Didn't need to be anything special, and I'm quite happy it didn't. And then there was an Elias Sampson promo for everyone that remembers Elias Sampson. He was out there, usual stuff. Him in a darkened arena in the ring with a spotlight on him, but he had the leader of, what were they called? The leader of the it's not the Lost Boys. The Forgotten Sons. That was it. The leader of the Forgotten Sons with him to be like his protector and his bit of muscle. But I thought he was going to get fired. I read that he was getting fired because he was being a big homophobe on Twitter. So I guess not. Okay. Odd decisions. Um, but yeah, then there was a bit of a scuffle. Nothing much happened really. Like, Elias could be really good, but at the same time, they're not really doing anything with him. Like, they know he can play guitar, so that's all he does. And that's quite frustrating because I've seen him in NXT. I've seen his progression, and he's pretty good. He's really good in the ring. But no, he needs to play guitar and he needs to have stupid gimmick matches with Jeff Hardy where he gets hit with a bass. Okay, that's fine. I also think from the next segment that Keith Lee is so good, like ridiculously good, but Vince knows nothing about him. There was nothing what to do with him, and I think that Vince McMahon will turn Keith Lee into late 90s, early 2000s Mark Henry. Like, if it was the 90s, Keith Lee would be sexual chocolate. You just would. Because Vince doesn't know what to do with him at all. And it's frustrating because, and I don't like to just keep harping on about NXT. And you've seen a couple of these now. This will be the third show. So you'll know that I enjoy NXT. I enjoyed NXT. So to see Keith Lee at his best, probably in NXT, to then get treated like this. I know that they did a 2-on-1 with him, with Miz and Morrison and everything, but like they won, and like Keith Lee was taking on 3 men at a time in NXT, so it doesn't really fit. And I wouldn't say that Miz and Morrison are good enough to beat Keith Lee, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I suppose it was a good match. They showed off that he was big and strong. I think that's what about the next Mark Henry from, because they're just treating him as like this big, strong man, basically, and that's upsetting because he's so much more than that. Then there was a bit of promo with Bray, and that was great. I've got Bray's great, Randy's great. Really is the only good thing on the show, Bray and Randy at the minute. And I don't think there's anyone that will argue with me with that, because they're both brilliant. And like, no, there's no argument. There's no argument at all. They are the best thing on Raw. What happened next? It was a retribution match, so therefore skipped. They need the shovel. Yeah. Then there was a Dana Brooke match, and all I've got written down here is that you can really tell that they miss Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte, because like the women's division in Raw is just an absolute shambles. Like, can anyone even remember that Asuka is the champion? I don't think so. Like, for the longest time, and when I say the longest time, I maybe mean like 3 weeks, I completely forgot that she was champion. And it's not good for her. It's not good for the title. It's not good for Raw, especially what she can do. And she's hanging up with Lana, but we'll get to that. Don't worry about it. And then Bray and Randy have a fight. Randy puts him in a box and sets it on fire. And when we've all seen the memes on Twitter with the face and everything, but I've put here that WWE have no self-awareness in the fact that they've gone from attempted murder to because Randy's tried to burn this man alive to a promo about bro nuts. So I just think it's a weird contrast that. So yeah, not great. Not great. But I quite like, as I've said, I like the bro nuts and I like Bray and Randy, but I think if some of these things are put in separate positions, the show could have flowed a wee bit better, if you understand. I've also got the Drew kicking ass in a kilt. That makes us all happy. That makes everyone at Always Wide always happy. But we do need to ask, where's his sparring? Now that's the real question. Where is his sparring? Also his the sock knife. Well, if Randy's burning people alive, Drew can have a sock knife. It's part of the gimmick. Part of the gimmick. And that's pretty much Raw. I'd say it was an alright show. I wouldn't say it was spectacular by any means. I'd actually say it's probably an average show. And considering that TLC is tonight as of recording, it didn't really make me, apart from Bray and Randy, because that was amazing, they didn't really make me want to tune in. And because I'm in Scotland, so a UK-based wrestling fan needs to make a decision whether they're going to be late for work or if they're going to watch and watch wrestling, or be on time for work and watch wrestling the next day when they get home. I think I'll go for the latter, if I'm honest. But yeah, well, in next week's show, we'll go over TLC as well. But that was Raw. Now on to AEW, which everyone thinks that I despise. I wouldn't say I despise AEW. I would say that I criticize AEW. The fact that if something's stupid, like you've seen in previous shows with this show, with Raw especially, and Smackdown, if something's not good, I'm not gonna sit there and say, yeah, that's amazing, just for some sort of wrestling loyalty. Like, yes, I've watched WWE pretty much for my entire life, but at the same time, if something's crap, it's crap. You know what I mean? So now that now that that's out of the way, AEW starts off with a multi-man match, which, like, can I just ask, is it like a rule in AEW that it needs to have multi-man matches, multi-tag matches, things like that? It's just kind of, and I like a tag match, but too much of something is always a bad thing. First thing I've actually written down here is that Matt Hardy using WWE gimmicks in AEW is pretty funny. Like how he's kind of going back through his metamorphosis that he was actually kind of doing in WWE towards the end, wasn't he? He was going into V1 and V2, Matt Hardy and stuff. And he's like, this week he had the gold the gold trousers on and everything. But no, like Matt Hardy's fine, I'd say. Like his broken gimmick's probably his best gimmick that he's ever had and ever will have probably. But in saying that in AEW, him teleporting from one side of the arena to the other doesn't. It's not great. It's really not great. And I'm of the mind that you can kind of twist it a little bit. Well, The Undertaker was dead, and he shot lightning out his hands and stuff. Kane made the 4 ring posts set on fire when he went like that. So you can play about with it a bit, but to actually to teleport, it's not for me there. Then there was a Cody Rhodes match against someone that I have no idea who it was. I think he takes that Ric Flair quote a little bit too hard. Like, I could have a great match with anyone. And I think, I'm not certain, but I think he's had maybe 2 or 3 feuds with people, and then he's just kind of fighting all these other people. But like, you don't really know who they are. Like, if you said to quite a staunch wrestling fan, but someone who doesn't really follow the indie scene and you say, oh yeah, it's Cody Rhodes versus insert name here, they would be like, who? And I was in that same boat. And and even his even Cody's entrance was really like, it's quite theatrical. And I know that he was quite upset, and well, maybe not upset, but just kind of taking the mick out of Triple H for his entrance. Because I remember he had the sledgehammer and everything. I thought it was quite funny, but also like, you, if you want to be one of the big boys and you're referencing the other one in such a obvious way, it's kind of, it doesn't look good for the brand. And not to say that WWE haven't done the same. They've lowered themselves as well. Because when Sami Zayn was like, oh yeah, you can ask me anything, you could have asked me about AEW, or when Triple H said, oh yeah, we'll just buy up that pissant wrestling promotion and fire you to Billy Gunn. But yeah, I don't think those shots needed to be done. But his entrance is quite over the top, if you know what I mean. Also, can I just ask, can someone tell me, when was Snow ever Sting's thing? I don't remember it. My little remembrance of WCW and my knowledge of TNA, I don't think it was ever Snow, was it? And if it was, please let me know. Because if it was, the egg is on my face. And I'll happily rescind it at the Always Wide Wrestling Twitter. But yeah, I don't think Snow's ever been a Sting. And if it has, then that's my fault, isn't it? What else did we have on AEW? All Elite Wrestling. There was a tag team called The Acclaimed, which I think is quite a cool name, but also them rapping, like that gimmick died a long time ago. That died along with John Cena's Dr. Thugonomics. That was the last good rapping gimmick. Not to say that there hasn't been many fun rap battles in wrestling. Like, let's not get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. It was a great one. That was a great line, great battle. Like that. But at the same time, it was like rapping was the promo that they did. Like, there was no, oh, I'm going to beat you up because of this reason and this reason. It was rap. Yeah, I didn't like that. I think with AEW, AEW and WWE are the same in a lot of ways. But where they're the same, they're the complete opposite in others. Like, WWE's completely scripted. There's no wiggle room really, unless you're like, I don't know, one of the top guys from the past. Whereas AEW's so improv that, like, you can tell. And that's, I think, if on that instance, if they met in the middle, here's what we want you to talk about. Maybe say this for a pop, but the rest is yours. You figure it out yourself. That's probably where I would want it to be. But beggars can't be choosers, can they? And but at the same time, nah, that's fine. Yeah, I think they're pretty much the same, but in different ways. They're completely opposite. Then there was a women tag match, which I thought went all right. Easy for me to say, but at the same time, with all these tag matches in AEW, I don't think, when something's happening in the ring, I don't think both of the partners can be at the ring at the same time, especially not for, I believe it's like 5 seconds they're given. Yeah, it's 5. Yeah, it's 5 because when you do a tag in the corner and then they both stomp, you only get 5 seconds. So why is it in all these matches, like with this one, we'll use as the example, there was a submission in the ring with the 2 women, and then the 2 partners fought each other, and then the ones that won, that partner was just holding down the other partner so that they couldn't go and help, and they were in there for ages. That's just something that's not allowed to happen. And then when you get all these people that say, "Oh, it's sports based," it's not, is it? Not really, especially when that happens. Because if it was sports based, the referee would turn and say, "You get out. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4," and then they would get out. You can't just hold them down. But hmm. You'll see that face quite a lot when I'm talking about AEW. Just, and it's sad because I want them to succeed. I want them and WWE to both be great. That's all we want. We as wrestling fans want good wrestling on all the shows. But when something's bad, you got to say it's bad. Otherwise, or you think it's bad and then you don't want to say it because everyone on Twitter is going to be like, "Oh, you only use Orange Cassidy as an example as like everyone else." That's because it sucks. That's why. When someone's got their hands in their pockets and they lightly tap someone's ankles and shins, and the sweet shin music, that was funny when it was Hornswoggle, but no, this person is a fully grown man doing this with his sunglasses on. Not to take away from any of his athleticism, like he can do a kip up with his hands in his pockets. I can't do that. But I just think it's a bad gimmick. And I said so on Twitter and people hated it. That's where people told me that it was a sports-based presentation. And I said that it wasn't. And they hated that as well. But either way, the main event was Kenny Omega versus, I nearly called him Jelly Janela from the Cornet podcast, Joey Janela. And to be honest, I'm quite happy that Kenny beat Joey Janela because I don't really like him. I don't like his look. I don't really like him on the mic. I don't like his social media presence. Like, so I was quite happy, and like I'm up and down with Omega. Like, I quite like his heel turn in the minute that he went on. I like that he went on TNA. Oh, sorry, Impact. No, it's always TNA. He went on TNA, and their champion is Rich Swann, who you might remember from 205 Live. And yeah, this bus outside, and Rich Swann, after his match and everything, gets his bag, gets his title, walks out to the car park, and there's the security guy who's like, you can't enter here, only the champion's allowed here. And he's like holding the belt like that, like, I am the champion. And then they're like, no, Mr. Omega says no one's allowed in here. It just made TNA look so shit. But at the same time, I thought it was really good. Like, heel work from, it's probably not Kenny Omega's idea, but at the same time, it made Kenny look like a proper dick. And yeah, it's just a funny moment. But either way, I don't really like the whole finger pointing stuff. Like, I get that his thing was this, that, bang. But yeah, I'm up and down with him. But I'm willing to give him a chance. If he's good here, I'm happy with it. It's all right. And the only other thing that really happened in AEW was the fact that Pac is back, which I think I really liked Neville. I really liked his heel 205 Live stuff. I really like Big Geordie. Well, he's not big, is he? He's like 5'5", 5'6". Just an average man in the land of the behemoths. But yeah, I like Neville, so I like Pac. But then, what was it, like the pandemic happened, and then he needed to go back to England for a while because he wanted to be with his family, obviously. which I don't blame him. But yeah, I like the Pac is back. Hopefully, he does some good stuff. In fact, actually, I forgot that Adam Page was messing around with those Dark Order people, and they had little cowboy hats on and bandanas and stuff. It was like not my thing, but hopefully someone out there enjoyed it. But like I said, not for me. So yeah, that was AEW. Not good. Not good. Not awful. Not what was it? It was like the Dark Order had like took siege on the ring while Cody and Dustin and everyone was in there, and that guy was like, that's the guy's face, and the guy was punching like that, and it was so obvious, and the camera was zooming in on that fact. But hopefully they'll get over that. But people might still always remember. But anyway, so that was AEW Wednesday #1, which, to be fair to them, they have had the better of the ratings. They've been hitting near enough 1 million every week, which NXT hasn't been getting close to. But at the same time, if you want to go a bit heel on it, just say like it is kind of like watching a car crash or watching a car on the train tracks. Like you just kind of something bad's going to happen, so you sit there and you wait and you watch until that train hits it. Which obviously I don't want that to be the case, but it is at the minute. It really is. The only good thing that I would say about AEW is MJF. I wouldn't even say Jericho. MJF. I like Sting. I don't know why he's a White Walker from Game of Thrones. That's maybe it. That's probably it. That can't be it. No, that's it. So NXT. NXT opened up with Kushida in the ring on the turnbuckle, giving it all that to the I was going to say crowd. Oh no, they do kind of have a crowd, don't they? Yeah. But he was giving it all that to the crowd, and I honestly forgot that Kushida was in NXT. I don't really remember what happened. I think he got injured. But at the same time, I remember that a few people were going back to Japan, and I thought he might have been one of them, and then nothing really was said about him. Nothing really happened. So Kushida was not in here. But yeah, he was wrestling with Leon Ruff, and Leon Ruff really doesn't mean anything to me. I suppose he's all right. He's got a good. He works well for his size, I'd say. The whole when he won the title and then they put it around him and then it fell off because he's too skinny. Like that was kind of funny, made me laugh a little bit, but at the same time, like that's the North American champion, so you want that to be. That's a cool looking belt. Loads of people have held that at like high reputation. So yeah, giving it to him kind of maybe diminished that a wee bit, but then Gargano got it back. Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. And then, as that's finishing up, Dexter Lumis is in the, what would you call it, the gate tree, and he was drawing on his little iPad, and and then I was just thinking, like, because he's this mad serial killer who just got that stay, and if we're meant to believe that he's been this way his entire life, and he likes to draw, which I'm assuming that he would have done. All I was thinking was, I wonder if he still had that crazy stay on while he was drawing Mickey Mouse in his childhood. But I don't know, probably not. He was probably drawing the Doomslayer or something. Shout out to Blair there with a bit of Doomslayer. But yeah, then there was a little promo from Toni Storm, a backstage vignette, I suppose. And she's great. I love a bit of Toni Storm. Her match with Rhea for the NXT UK women's title way back. That was great. I loved that. And then she actually brought that up, saying that she was the reason why Rhea left NXT UK and came here. Well, not here, I'm in Scotland, but came to NXT in the US. And it was just a really good promo. Really good. I enjoyed it. And it made me think that NXT's presentation of things, and they're like, surely they're not using better cameras. They're using their experience and their knowledge of lighting and all that sort of thing. Like, their presentation is just leagues and leagues above AEW. But we can only hope from an AEW point of view that that comes with time and a bit more experience. But who knows? Hopefully. Next up on the card was Tyler Rust against Tommaso Ciampa, and apparently Tyler Rust is one of the pupils from the guy that Tommaso was fighting at War Games. And I thought this was done. Like, I wasn't too into it for War Games, but it is what it is, I suppose. Like, if they've got no one for Tommaso to take on next, like, I guess that's fine. But at the same time, you don't just throw him in there for the sake of it. But yeah, thought it was done. Should have been done, really. But if it's good, and if they're gonna fight a New Year's Evil and it's better, who can complain? Who can really complain at that point? The grizzled young veterans had a little promo as well, a little vignette, and as a local supporter myself, they're all right with me. So happy with them. I've also got the Undisputed Era is so cool, like ridiculously cool. Like Adam Cole for a start, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong. And if anyone can remember who is Roderick Strong, that documentary they put on, he's well past that now. But yeah, really, really good. I really enjoy the Undisputed Era. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. I think everyone must enjoy the Undisputed Era. And this led on to not the main event, weirdly enough, but it was Pete Dunne. It was Pete Dunne against Kyle O'Reilly. And they got in the ring together and they were just staring into each other's eyes. And then all this craziness happened. This big brawl broke out. And the camera cuts to them and they're just looking eye to eye like that. Nothing. It was magic. They didn't need to look around. The focus was on each other. I really enjoyed that. Really did enjoy that. I really enjoy Pete Dunne. I love his joint manipulation stuff. I think it's really great. But I do need to say, there's this boy from Dudley, England. Does he need that much fake tan? He's in Florida. I'm sure he'll burn like a crisp. Like, I don't think he needs it. Like, I've been to Florida, so if he can just sunbathe outside, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. And I've been out to pubs and nightclubs and stuff, and you see the girls with all the, and boys, of course, with the fake tan on their hands because they've not put the gloves on and stuff, or if they put the gloves on, then it doesn't look right because they've got that little white bit just there from the glove. So yeah, Pete, just sunbathe outside, mate. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. A Rhea promo, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, Rhea Ripley is a star. If Vince does not use her correctly on the main roster, that could be the final straw for a lot of people. That might be Triple H's final straw before he murders him. But yeah, she's just great. She's superb. Absolutely superb in the ring, superb on the mic. She's like so visually so good, like it's unreal. That led us on to a Shotzi Blackheart match with a woman that I cannot remember the name of in a minute. And I just need to say, does she need to bring her tank out every single time? Like, Rusev brought his tank out at Mania. Shotzi brought it out at War Games. Cool. But I don't know if, I can't remember if she was bringing it out in NXTs before that, but at the same time, does she need to bring it out every time? That kind of diminishes it for me. Like, it doesn't seem as cool when I've seen it 100 times. You know what I mean? It's just kind of part of it. Might as well be, I was going to say Kurt Angle's medals, but like they were actually, and that's not a real tank. No, I guess his ones in the 2000s weren't his actual Atlanta 96 medals. So yeah, it's just an extra gimmick. But I don't think it's needed. I will say Killian Cross being back, and Killian Cross is, his entrance is really cool. I really enjoyed that, and he smashed this guy. And what's her NXT name? I know it's Scarlett Bordeaux. I can't remember if they changed her name for NXT, but either way, he's there and he's beating the guy, and she's in the background. It's visually really good. Like that's what AEW could learn from WWE. And then after that, we we learn that Dexter Lumis is going to be the host. Dexter Lumis will be the host of New Year's Evil. The crazy serial killer, crazy drawing serial killer, who does not speak, will be the host of New Year's Evil. To be fair, he did quite a good redrawing. I like that as we caricature. But I don't know how that's going to work with him, with him being the epitome of mute. We'll find out. And I'll let you know if you don't watch it, because I will watch it. And then to go from that into Rhea versus Toni Storm, very good match. Very, very good match. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing Rhea's power come into it, but I love to see Toni showing her own power, and the fact that she was throwing Rhea around the ring, which barely anyone ever does. You can really tell that they respect each other. But just a really, really good match. If you haven't seen it, I would go and watch it if I was you. Toni, well, I was going to say who wins, but if you've not seen it, I won't spoil it for you. So yeah, and that was the end of NXT. Out of NXT and AEW, what would I say was the better show? What would I say is the better show? It's not AEW, but I'm just trying to figure out if NXT was better. Yes, Leon Ruff brings it down. Johnny Gargano was fine. Didn't even put any notes on the Gargano tag match. I would say NXT was probably better this week, but only because I like more people on NXT. And I know that's bad. And I know that that's not objective. But I'd rather see Rhea Ripley over what was his name? I don't even need to say that. That right there was perfect. What's his name? It just shows. But yeah, and if you want to say anything to me about this, either put it in the comment section below or tweet me at AWOnWrestling. Find me. So yeah, that leads us on to Smackdown. Smackdown. When we originally thought to do this, me and Blue, we were gonna divvy it up, and you might know that from last week's show, actually. But we did a we did a randomizer who would get what show. He got Raw and NXT, and I got AEW and Smackdown. And I was just thinking at that point, why? Why has he got the two good shows and I've got the two bad shows? And that's upsetting for, well, one, for fans of those shows, and two, the fact that these are, in the general public, being known as bad shows. I'd rather them be good shows. But if that's the way the cookie's crumbling, that's the way it is, isn't it? And to be honest, SmackDown in recent weeks have started to kind of pick it up a little bit, I suppose, with the whole Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns stuff. Like that's been good. That has been good. But like SmackDown started off with the Kevin Owens promo, being all, "Oh, where are you? Blah blah, come out here, nah." And Kevin Owens is great on the microphone. I'll give him that. He's very good on the microphone. Then Paul Heyman came up on the screen, and Paul Heyman is amazing on the microphone. And then Kevin Owens goes to the back. He's trying to find him, this, that, and the other. And then the TV behind them, perfectly placed. You see Roman Reigns coming out to the ring, and Kevin just stands there and he watches and he waits for Roman to finish his promo so that he can go down there and then do something about it. But at that point, all I was thinking was, so you're looking for him, you're looking for Roman Reigns, you know where he is, you're watching the telly, same as me, you're in that building, you were just in the ring, why don't you turn around and go get him instead of watching SmackDown? But so that's probably a bit nitpicky, I suppose, but it's just what I thought at the time. Nothing you can do about it. Then there was a tag team championship match, which was fine, I guess. I don't like the Street Profits. I don't like the in case you missed it kind of deal. But yeah, Street Profits against Big Ziggs and Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode deserves better. And the Street Profits deserve the shovel, in my opinion. They really do. I don't like them. And it's nothing to do with probably their work. Their work is fine in the ring, but I don't like how they're holding the tag championships. And this is probably a slight at Vince McMahon because he's killed tag team wrestling in WWE. But they stood there and they're like, "Oh yeah, that was a really great segment. Just wait, just wait until the next one. Don't switch over." And it's just like, not thrilled on that. So, shovel. At the end of their match actually kind of made me laugh because Ziggler and Roode were giving it to Little Nate, and Little Nate just turns around and he goes mental at them. He's screaming at them. So I was like, I've actually written down here, "Get it, Little Nate." I like it when the referees bite back. When Triple H and what was his name? One of the twin referees. No, I can't remember. But yeah, he would like push the ref and then the ref would push back. It was a really good spot. I liked it. Then there was a tag match between Billie Kay and Tamina, and I can't remember who. That speaks volumes. But I've written down here that Billie Kay deserves better because her and the Iconics it was just good. She's really good now. She's waving her resume around, getting Tamina as a tag team partner, and she's getting beat. Nah, not for me, mate. Not for me. That lead. SmackDown's not started well, has it? If this was ups and downs, you might know where it's going. I will say though, no, in fact, that's not up. That's not up. I was going to say the Carmella champagne celebration, but that wasn't an up. It wasn't an up. It was boring. She sung bubbly, 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 and that wasn't for me. A little bit of the bubbly was way better than her little bubbly song. I've also written down here that I don't know who the heel is between Sasha and Carmella. I don't know. They're both being complete bitches to each other, and I don't understand who's meant to be the heel and who's the face. And as my partner Lisa has said to me, heels can fight each other, and I was like, yeah, they can, I suppose. But I think Sasha's meant to be the baby face, but she's not really acting like one. She's just kind of being a big old bitch. And so is Carmella, but Carmella's doing more bitchy things. Man, then it ended with another champagne bottle to the spine. It was fine. I'm sure it'll be okay at TLC. I think it'll be fine. Then there was a Shinsuke versus Otis match. I've written down here, Shinsuke deserves better. That might be a weekly thing. Who deserves better? And it's definitely Shinsuke Nakamura. He definitely deserves better. He's amazing. He's kind of the reason why I got into NXT. Like him and Samoa Joe especially. Like I watched, no, in fact, I remember seeing on Twitter Shinsuke Nakamura and Triple H shaking hands. I think Stephanie might have been there. I can't remember, but they made a really big deal of signing Shinsuke Nakamura, and then he had the match with Sami Zayn, and then I watched that on YouTube. I got the network like that. It was really, really good. And his feud with Joe, as I was saying before, was just superb. Joe, just want him off the commentary team and back in the ring. I know that's selfish. I don't know if he's injured or what, but that's what I want. And like just that regal, give me Nakamura or give me my title. It was superb. Everyone could have learned from that. Even NXT now could have learned from that. Yeah, and then there was the Sammy Awards, which was pretty funny. And then then Big E wins one of them, and then he smashes Sammy. But if they're gonna push Big E as a single, why is he just making noises and laughing and stuff? That's not for me. If I was gonna book Big E, I'd turn him heel and just let him go. Just let him go for it. But I don't run it. My name's not Vince McMahon, unfortunately. And then it turned into Bianca versus Bayley. Bianca is so smooth in the ring, very, very smooth, and she uses her athleticism in a good way, and she doesn't turn the entire match into gymnastics, which I really appreciate. Actually, that's a dig at AEW. Didn't even register it. Just happens. The digs just kind of happen. Yeah, I've also got to say, like, does Bianca Belair not hit anyone with her hair anymore? Like that was a really good move or spot. But either way, like her entrance music starts with a whip, and that's from her hair. And like she did it in NXT, did it like all the time. It was really good. But maybe saving it for TLC. Maybe it's going to be her kind of pay-per-view thing, which I wouldn't hate, but at the same time, I'd like to see it more. Less is more to an extent. Like, a move like that compared to Shotzi's tank, I suppose, are comparable, but also not, because one's a move and one's a tank. Yeah. But either way, that does move us onwards to the fact that even though Roman looks really, really good with the Universal title, I still don't understand why they don't use the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, that as a belt is gorgeous. I don't understand why they don't use it. Just, I know they want to push the boundaries and go forward and do all this stuff and trailblaze or whatever. But when the world title and the WWE title put together to be the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, why didn't they just split it? Why didn't they? I can't remember when that was actually. Was that when the Shield were fighting each other? Like, if Rollins and Ambrose both pinned Roman at once, they could split it, and then we could have the big gold back. That's what I'd prefer. But moving on. There's more of a beatdown on Kevin Owens, which was good. Showed him as a fighter, maybe went on a bit too long, actually. But I just love heel Roman Reigns. Heel Roman Reigns is absolutely out this world good. Like, they're using the ring mic really well with him. Just everything he's saying in the ring, like, I believe it. I believe that he believes those things. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So, yeah, heel Roman is superb. Him using Jay is like this little lap dog that he'll just go beat him up, and then he'll go do it. That's just superb. That's absolutely great. And then what I thought really funny was the fact that they actually buried him. Like, they buried him under like tables, ladders, and chairs as the pay-per-view's called. But the fact that they actually buried him, Roman buried him. He's got the golden shovel. He's took it right off of Triple H. But I just thought that was really funny, and that is how we finish the wrestling for the week. So, what did you think? Did you enjoy that? Tell me down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. But actually, either tweet me or put it in the comments. We can have a discussion about it. Let's talk about what could happen. What you'd prefer to happen. Do you like AEW? Do you hate it? Do you actually love AEW and hate NXT? Or are you a complete indie person? Do you only watch backyard wrestling? Let me know. I want to know. But yeah, that's about it. Doing it solo. Hopefully I did it all right this week. Hopefully I'll be better in the weeks coming. And maybe one day we can get Blair back. Who knows? But if you have enjoyed it, please let me know. Please subscribe. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.